folks, gather round for this very exciting occasion. So for those of you who don't know, my name is David Mitchell. I'm the mayor of the town of Bridgewater, and I am super excited to be here. I know this has been a long time coming. We wanted to do this many years ago. There's some complications. You can all call the province and your MLA and get them to update the traffic standards. That makes it so these aren't illegal. But, you know, between Steve and our staff, we found a solution on, you know, a very busy intersection, very highly prominent, which is what we want to. But I just want to convey that this is more than just, you know, painting some colors on the road. You all know that. It's the town's way of publicly demonstrating to everyone that this is a safe, respectful, inclusive community where everyone deserves to be treated with love. And I know for many of you it doesn't feel like that. So I fielded a few calls. Why are you doing this? Why are you spending the money? Well, because some people don't have the luxury of just walking around being exactly who they want to be, a full, true expression of themselves without someone judging, hurting them. We don't have to go down all, you know. So this is just a small thing that the town can do to express that this is everyone's community, regardless of who you are, how you identify, whatever it is. This is your community. And so we are privileged to be able to do this. So I do want to thank Lunenburg Pride and our staff team for working together, and I look forward to the parade that's coming next month, our first Pride Parade. Town Council will be there with all of you, and so, you know, better things are ahead. And I'll turn it over to you.
Jeez, now I gotta try not to cry. Thank you. No, I mean, like you said, this is it's a small gesture in the grand scheme of things, but it really means a lot more than just paint on a road. I know people here are part of the LGBTQ plus community. There are allies here, and the climate that we're currently living in, where there is a lot of vitriol and attacks on LGBTQ folks, especially trans people and drag queens, you know, especially when we have the events in Bridgewater next month, this will show to them that it's more than just paint. You know, this is a town that is welcome and inclusive to anyone, no matter the minority that comes out and tries to speak out against us, because, you know, we're not going anywhere. And it truly means a lot to me that we've worked through all the ups and downs with the rules and found a way to make it work, because it's so important that we have a crosswalk in Bridgewater, especially now that Bridgewater is growing and it's going to grow in the coming years. So I just want to thank everyone who came out, and this is wonderful that it happens to be in place before Pride Week next month. So I hope that anytime you're around here, whether it's during Pride Week or not, that you'll remember this very important day, and, you know, we will just keep staying positive despite all the reasons we have not to be. So thanks, everybody.
I'm Amanda Fancy. I'm the dealer owner of Gauss Home Hardware and Furniture. We've been at this location for about a year. We started in 1848, way back when. This is our 5th location, so we've never have left the town limits. So when we're looking to build this location, we had lots of opportunity to potentially look at outside of the town limits, but it was really key for us to be and continue to be a growing business in Bridgewater. Bridgewater, Nova Scotia is unique. We have a beautiful countryside. Our town is 7,500 people, but then, our customer reach is about 45,000. So, we're talking about lots of small communities, hidden treasures. There's huge opportunity here, and I think that it's certainly worthwhile to make the visit, make the call, do some inquiring, because it certainly is somewhere where I think there would be some strong investment opportunities for sure.
My name is Joey Richard. I come from Quebec, Montreal. I've studied opera at the Montreal Conservatoire of Music, so this is where I've learned about Italian, the language, and the food. And my passion just became bigger and bigger for food. I've been cooking for 20 years, almost. I opened a family business, but the only thing I forgot is that my family is still in Montreal, so I'm like, I'm trying. I make new friends. I'm building this thing, but it is a family business here. My chef is like my brother. His wife is like my sister. So I recreated a family environment. We do the real recipes, starting from the real ingredients, and for Italian food, what the secret is. Few ingredients and very fresh. So each recipe would be like 3-4 ingredients maximum. But it's just the best ingredients and makes it so delicious. If you think that it's impossible to have your own business, I'm the living proof that it is possible. People want us to thrive. We work together. So everybody helps each other. If you want to be part of a community, it is the community to be part of.
My name is Joel Holland. I'm the owner and operator of 902 Athletics. I found the opportunity, started this gym in my parents' garage, and now we are currently in an 8,600 square foot facility. A lot of people come here because of the community. The things that we offer here are different than a normal gym. It's an open atmosphere where you come in, the music's played over the loudspeakers, not in your ears. You don't put earbuds in and just walk around from one machine to the other. You focus on yourself, but at the same time you get to meet new people. We have 3 floors, which we do CrossFit, boot camps, athletic training, and personal training. We have so many other businesses that are growing our economy and feeding into it becoming more populated, a place where people actually stay as opposed to leave. We're growing, we're getting bigger, and a lot of people are on the same push to become a better Bridgewater. I love this place. It's my home, and there is no other place that I would want my business to be.
gather round for this very exciting occasion. So for those of you who don't know, my name is David Mitchell. I'm the mayor of the town of Bridgewater, and I am super excited to be here. I know this has been a long time coming. We wanted to do this many years ago. There's some complications. You can all call the province and your MLA.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of Bridgewater Town Council. I'll call the meeting to order. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, motion to approve the agenda is circulated. Councillor Conklin, seconded by Councillor McDonald. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Are there any announcements from members of council? Upcoming things in the agenda? Councillor Thorburn.
Yes, Your Worship. Actually, this week is Fire Prevention Week. It rolls around every year, and it's on the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire, 1871. It burned for 4 days, and they lost over 100,000 residents were left homeless, and it was quite a fire. I think everybody heard that the cow kicked over the milk store or something, set the barn on fire, and it went from there. But that's anyway, it's this week. Sunday, because of the weather, we didn't have the service at the monument, which is going to be on the 22nd, Sunday. Tuesday night, they got their meeting. Wednesday night, they got a mutual aid parade in Mahone Bay. Thursday, they visit the daycares in the morning and open house in the evening. Friday, they go to the elementary school for the fire escape plan for the students there. And Sunday, they're holding an elevator course, and all the fire departments are invited there on that. So. And on Sunday, the reason they didn't do the church service on the 15th, rather, is because it's Female Networking Day that was started by the Bridgewater Fire Department quite a few years ago. All the female firefighters get a training day with just them. So it's quite an important day, well attended. That's it.
Great, thank you. Any other announcements from members of council? All right, go down to minutes. We have the minutes of September 11th regular council meeting, September 25th regular council meeting, and October 3rd special council meeting. Any errors or omissions on those? Hearing none, the motion to approve the minutes is circulated. This side of the room. Councillor Tanner, Councillor McDonald, all those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. My apologies, I forgot to just once again say that the town of Bridgewater is located in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and we are privileged to be here. We are all the way down to business arising and unfinished business. So we have amendments to Policy 77, grants to organizations for the tiny shelters.
Okay. So council had received a report at a previous council meeting with respect to the tiny shelter grant, and just an update to council that when council had made amendments to Policy 77 about a year ago to look at incorporating a tiny shelter grant and provided budgeted funds for that. Staff reported that we had not received any applications over the last fiscal year for that. Some recent stats that were provided by the South Shore Open Doors Association note that there's 123 households as of August that were experiencing homelessness in our region. So there's clearly a need for some assistance. It just appears that the tiny shelter grant isn't necessarily the solution. Some conversations that have happened with organizations over the past few months indicate that there's some challenges to actually having a tiny shelter. So the organizations noted that they would not be engaging in building a tiny shelter, and some of the reasons provided were lack of supports for mental health, the facilities, bathrooms, being able to prepare food. The cost of insurance to host a tiny shelter is quite high, and perhaps a huge barrier for these organizations. And you need staff and volunteer capacity to have these as well. And they suggested that they wouldn't be taking advantage of that. So some of the organizations that were talked to were Souls Harbor, St. Joseph's Church, the Interchurch Council, United Way, and South Shore Open Doors Association. So staff had recommended to council that we look at amending policy 77 to remove reference to the tiny shelter. We tried that program and it hasn't had any uptake. So we remove reference to that so as to not to create an expectation that there is a grant there when there isn't, and that the money be set aside and repurposed for something that hasn't been identified yet, but staff would work with the groups and organizations that are working in this field to assist people with homelessness, and propose to council how the funds could be repurposed. So we come back to council with a report and a recommendation before anything is done. The main purpose tonight would be just to do the policy amendments to remove that from our list of grants.
But its ultimate purpose will be within the same
Yeah, same purpose.
the same goal of,
Yeah.
of alleviating the homelessness or the people, helping people who are sleeping around. Okay. Just want to make sure we're all clear on that. Any questions for the CAO on that? Do we have, did you say a timeline when that would come back to council?
We didn't put a timeline on it, but
I know Stafford's want.
yeah, I believe that there have been some conversations that have already started, so it should be within the next couple months.
But it's something, if an organization or someone were to come forward with an idea, that would not
Yeah.
be held up by this, we could entertain that.
The money is just set aside,
Okay,
so, yeah.
perfect, yeah. Okay, any questions? Hearing none, is someone prepared to make a motion? Deputy Mayor?
Yes, Your Worship, I'll make a motion. I move that Town Council for the Town of Bridgewater approve the amendments to Policy 77, grants to organizations with respect to tiny shelters as presented in Document 23-134B, effective upon approval.
Thank you, seconded by Councilor McDonald. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. We're down to new business. Repeal of Policy 101, COVID Property Tax Financing Program.
So this is just to have this policy repealed. It was put in place during COVID, and it was provided for through the Municipal Government Act, which enabled for tax and payments by installment. And it's been in place for 3 years, and it has not been used subsequent to 2020. And there are no properties, I believe, at this time that would fall under this policy or be impacted by the repeal of it. So it was really a measure that was put in place, as I say, in response to COVID-19 and kind of the shutdown of things for a period of time.
Any questions on that? Hearing none, someone prepared to make a motion? Councilor Caldwell, thank you.
Move the Town Council for the Town of Bridgewater give notice of intention pursuant to Section 48 of the Municipal Government Act that at the October 23rd, 2023 meeting of Town Council, repeal of Policy 101, COVID-19 Property Tax Financing Program will be considered.
Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Fagier. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Down to 2023-24 financial report for the first quarter. We will welcome our Director of Finance.
Good evening. I'll just go through the highlights of the report. On the first page, you can see we're projecting a budget surplus for 23-24 as of Q1, so as of the end of June, $448,000. Half of that is basically made up of deed transfer tax. So as of June, we were already at 62% of the budget. And so we were projecting to be over by $195,000. And then when we did the written report, as of the end of August, we were already at $451,000 on a $500,000 budget. So the deed transfer tax has still been coming in steady. We never know, especially with winter months ahead, how the property market will go. So it's always just our best guesstimate. And I don't have September's numbers yet, but we're almost at budget where we are right now. So, you know, half of that budget surplus is just a result of deed transfer tax coming in high. There's a number of other things. Sewer revenue is going to be a little bit under budget. Of course, when we do budget, almost a year ago now when we started the budgeting process, we estimated the number of new units that would be in place and build at tax time, but we were a little overconfident, I think, in the numbers, so it's a little bit behind. So we're expecting sewer revenue to come in about $51,000 under budget. The impact of that will just be that there's less money to transfer in the sewer reserve at the end of the year, so there's not a big bottom line impact for that. On other revenue, we've had a few things, and we talked about this when it happened at year end, but our interest rates have gone up and our bank balance has stayed high. Right now, even though we're in the midst of a lot of capital projects, we haven't paid for this season's capital projects significantly, so upcoming bills will reduce our bank balance. So right now, we're over budget, and we're projecting to be over budget by $140,000 at year end. Again, it just depends on where we are with our bank balances and our large capital projects at any point in time. Conditional transfers from other governments. We actually had a little bit of unbudgeted money come up. The fire department received a grant for $10,000. As well as the town received $115,000 that was earmarked for transit operating or capital or housing. Those were the generic terms of that. So that's showing up in revenue right now, but it hasn't been allocated to a specific project. And as well, we received funding from ACOA for kiosks. That's showing up in that quarter. So those are kind of the revenue items. On the expenditure side, there's not a whole lot of things that stand out there. We do, in administration, have a couple of vacant positions still we've been unable to fill, and so that leaves us probably under budget in administration expenses by around $100,000. On the IT side, we're slightly below budget, but that varies month to month. On the police, again, just a matter of timing on salaries and overtime. The one thing to note, though, under, I guess, transportation, there's a number of different things that have crept up where we know there's the street sweeper and a dump truck that are both requiring $25,000 to $30,000 worth of maintenance to keep them on the road. So we already know we've got a couple of things that are over budget in as of the first quarter. And other than that, mostly things are just, because we're in the first quarter, it was the spring, staff really, we'll have a better idea of where we stand at the end of Q2. But this just gives you an idea of the things we know about at this point in time. And there also is an update there. The very last pages of the report are the capital, which I don't really give you a write-up on because, again, we're just kind of starting the construction period, and giving you information up to the end of June doesn't provide a whole lot. The one thing to note there would be some things that are identified as project deferred. So they're items that we've identified that they may not get completed this year. So those would be the things to keep in mind when looking through that.
Okay. Questions? Kim?
Kim, just a note on the festivals being over budget, but there's a note that we got the ACOA grant, which should put us under budget. No? Typo?
Under festivals?
Yeah, sorry. Page 4.
Yes, so it's over budget right now, but it just has, that one's probably a result of when, like, we divide our budget up by 12 months.
Okay.
And so it's just kind of a timing issue because we already had the revenue showing in this quarter for those kiosks. By the end, the expense should be over by the $17,000 kiosk that wasn't budgeted. So they're expecting that to even out by the end of the year.
Other questions? It's early days, right? First quarter. It's not.
Yeah, really the highlight was de-transfer tax.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, thank you. 11.3 PSC. Oh, sorry. Oh, do you need a motion to receive the report?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to receive the report, please? Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Conklin. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. 11.3 PSC citizen appointments. Public Service Commission, should probably say that so that people understand what PSC is. So Public Service Commission, or, the entity that delivers everyone's clean drinking water in Bridgewater, is made up of council and citizen members. And so the recommendation here is to appoint Mr. Murray McDonald and Mr. Alan McMullen to the Public Service Commission. Did you have more to add, or did you want to, Tammy?
No.
No, that's good. Sorry.
I was just going to make a motion.
Yes, please. Perfect.
All right. I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater support the Public Service Commission of Bridgewater's recommendation and appoint Mr. Murray McDonald and Mr. Alan McMullen to the Public Service Commission of Bridgewater as citizen reps effective immediately.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Conklin. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Public Service Commission temporary boring resolution request for guarantee.
So this is the Public Service Commission approved a temporary boring resolution to fund capital projects. It's in the amount of $1,056,972. The town is required to guarantee that borrowing. So this is a guarantee borrowing resolution that's in front of council for consideration.
Okay, any questions on that? Is someone prepared to make a motion? Councillor Tanner, thank you.
I move that whereas the Public Service Commission of Bridgewater is a body corporate pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 59, Section 2 of the Statutes of Nova Scotia, 2011, and whereas the Public Service Commission of Bridgewater has resolved to borrow by the issue and sale of debentures the sum of $1,056,972, $1,056,972 for the purpose of water systems, and whereas pursuant to Section 60-4 of the Municipal Government Act, the Public Service Commission of Bridgewater has requested the town of Bridgewater to guarantee the principal and interest of the said borrowing, and whereas Section 88 of the Municipal Government Act provides no guarantee of a borrowing by the municipality, shall have effect unless the Minister of Municipal Affairs is approved of the proposed borrowing or debenture and of the proposed guarantee. Be it therefore resolved that subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs, the town of Bridgewater unconditionally guarantee repayment of the principal and interest of the borrowing of $1,056,972, $1,056,972 for the purpose set out above. That upon the issue of the temporary borrowing resolution, the mayor and clerk of the town do sign the guarantee, attach the temporary borrowing resolution of Public Service Commission of Bridgewater, and affix hereto the corporate seal of the town, and are authorized to do all things and execute all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Conklin.
Where was Councillor Thorber for that one?
He's spreading the love. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. 11.5 Senior Safety Program. The September report is there, and just a reminder for the public that all the documents we have in our document packets are also online. All of them are here, including the agenda and all of this. So I did want to just say that the first one that caught my attention was that they're continuing with research and development of seniors' mental wellness toolkit, and today is World Mental Health Awareness Day, and there are more and more resources. I'm actually quite pleased with how, when we went through the struggle of the pandemic, the province really seemed to ramp up the access and the ways that people can access health and mental health resources. So I would encourage anyone who is struggling with their mental health to reach out to someone, because we want to make sure everyone is continuing along with us and no one feels that they are left behind. They have their Senior Safety Academy from starting on October 12th, and it does run until November 16th. We do need to register, so that's going to be in Chester as well. So again, all the information is on in the document package, or you can reach out through United Way, Bridgewater Police. There's Chester, MODL, lots of any one of our municipal units will be able to give you some information on the senior safety program and point you in the right direction. Okay, down to our last item is 11.6 advisory committees for downtown planning and active transportation. It's a recommendation. Oh, perfect. Our Director of Community Development.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. It's my first time in our refreshed chambers.
It's nice, right?
It is.
Much more inviting.
So this report originates with staff, and as you know, you have many, I say you as in town council, has many advisory committees of council. The Community Development Department supports 4 of those advisory committees: the Downtown Plan Advisory Committee, Heritage Advisory Committee, Parks, Recreation, Culture, and Active Transportation. And in this report, staff are asking for you to consider suspending the Downtown Plan and the AT committees and to put it into a larger review of the role of advisory committees and what you as council want for the advisory committees. And the reasons are similar but different for each. So for the Active Transportation Plan, council first endorsed a plan in 2008. It recently renewed its plan in 2020. And the AT Advisory Committee was very engaged in helping to do that work. And they've contributed greatly to the community. But at present, staff lack the staff capacity, and the committee expectations are a bit mismatched. And we are just really lacking in the capacity to do things. We're focused on operationalizing the Active Transportation Plan, and it's very operationally focused at this point in time. And so it's been a challenge for staff to sort of manage the expectations of committee members of what we can do in the community when it comes to active transportation and advocacy and building new things, and our ability to develop some of the AT infrastructure or programming that the committee would like to see is limited by our limited budget and our limited staff resources. So that's the main reason for the AT. For the Downtown Plan Advisory Committee, that committee was created when council initiated the Downtown and Waterfront Master Plan process, and then the terms of reference are very focused on helping council to implement that plan, helping council and staff and being that committee and community input. But for the past 4 years, specifically, it's the next phase of the Downtown and Waterfront Master Plan work has been in limbo. We think it's 1 year, and then it gets pushed primarily because of our growing wastewater needs, and the changing might be in 1 year in the capital budget, and then it gets pushed. So right now, it's been pushed all the way out to the design work not happening until 29-30, and implementation not until 31-32. And so with that being pushed so far out into the future and being the main reason for the Downtown Plan Advisory Committee, staff are again seeking council's direction and requesting that we consider just suspending for the time being. It might be that through the review they are reinvigorated or that it changes into something else, but we're requesting that it be referred into that process, and that the expectations between staff and the committee members are clear, that we're not meeting for the next however many months while that review happens, and then just while we're also figuring out our capacity within the department to be able to support that work and have clear direction from council as to what you're expecting from those advisory committees, so we can keep it a bit more narrow instead of all the amazing ideas that everybody has that isn't necessarily within the strategic priorities or the operational priorities.
So that when you say the mismatched expectations, that's kind of what you mean, right? That's the committee's like, oh, why can't we just do this? Why can't we just do that? But we just keep moving.
we can't, or that it's a great idea. I mean, the AT Advisory Committee has done a tremendous, and they've done it all when it comes to the bike to school days. But a lot of the planning that came forward for Bike Week relied on staff to execute it. So there's a lot of great volunteer hours, but not enough volunteer hours to carry out everything without staff involvement. And so we don't have a dedicated active transportation staff. We have our planner too, who has a strong component of her job in active transportation, but she's not a standalone AT staff, and therefore is also doing all the many development applications that are coming in and the other policy work that's coming in. And so we're balancing that across the team.
Questions from members of council? Councilor Caldwell.
So is it my understanding that all committees will be undergoing a review in the near future?
Yeah, so what we'll be doing in preparation for the upcoming election is bringing a few things to council that we'd be seeking some direction on. So one is to take a look at all committees in terms of, here's your list of committees, both internal and external. And do they still provide value to council and what council's mandate is? So it's kind of a healthy check to do, because there can be committee creep sometimes into areas where it kind of goes outside of council's mandate. The other thing we'll be doing is kind of looking at the external ones and making sure that they have directors and officers insurance. So, because if they're external to council, our insurance policy doesn't cover the council members' participation on those committees if there is anything to happen from a legal perspective. So we'll be bringing that forward. It probably won't be until in the new year. And at that time, with the Downtown Planning Advisory Committee or the Active Transportation Committee, it may be, do we look at the mandate and change that to meet another need that council may have? Are there other committees that can fulfill some of that mandate already? So we'll be kind of taking it through that exercise.
Those two committees would also be part then of that.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions, Councillor Thorburn?
Tammy, I'm on 3 provincial committees. Does that want to get eliminated?
Not necessarily, no. Well, it's up to council.
Well, I don't know if I'm covered.
I would say that we'll be doing that review. I don't want to say I assume, but normally that check is done when a committee or board asks for council participation, that there's a check to make sure that the proper insurance coverage is in place. Because the decision is independent of council, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll confirm all that.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Hearing none, someone prepared to make a motion. Councillor Coffin, thank you.
I move that Town Council for the Town of Bridgewater endorse the recommendation of the Community Development Department and suspend the Downtown Plan Advisory Committee and Active Transportation Advisory Committee until further notice, and that Council refer the review of town committees to the Administration Department for review and report back to Council at a future Council meeting.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor McDonald. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just, one final comment, just that the contribution of all the community members and stakeholders is incredibly valuable, and just want to make that clear, because we were focused very much on the staff capacity component, which is why we brought it forward.
Yeah, and I think all those volunteers, because they have worked with staff, understand. Nobody would be shocked to learn our staff are busy and then even more busy. So I do think they understand that. So, but thank you for saying that. Yeah. We do have an in-camera meeting right after this for it's under the MGA Section 22(2)A, acquisition, sale, lease, and security of municipal property. So if there's no further business, I have a motion to adjourn, please. Thanks, Deputy Mayor Frazier, seconded by Councillor Caldwell. We are adjourned. Thank you.